You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on, because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because the whole place can't be like, you know, Weird Town, you know, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them, and, and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill, and it's like that. And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like, could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time, and you think, no, he came to see me on a rooftop in New York. I said, hey, can I talk to you? And he said, sure. And he floated in, sideways, through a crowd of people. He was wearing black, and it was like one of those old vampire movies where they don't walk, but they glide. And he was a dancer, you know, so he has he's very, you know, graceful. And he moved sideways, and he just sat down in a chair next to me, and it kind of frightened me. And he's a very smart guy. And we started talking, and I didn't, you know, say much of anything about reading the script, nothing. I just started talking about the Middle Ages, and he began to talk tortures. And we swapped tortures, because I'd read this book on torture, and I tried to recall some of the most heinous things I'd ever read in this book, and he was like, oh, and he'd try and top it. And and my assistant was there, and he left because he couldn't stand it anymore. The air had turned cold. And then he left, and I wanted to leave. And because I knew that I didn't want to work with him. And he was getting scary. And there's a producer I know, successful producer, I will not mention names, but his whole opinion about women on film, from beginning to end, is very brief. He says, women on film, either naked or dead. Both is better. And it's like, whoa, whoa. The man has got a spiritual malady for a start. I mean, the scary thing is that I think a lot of people think that.
Have you ever wondered what truly frustrates the elites? It's the sharp minds and independent thinkers, the people who refuse to bend to their sinister rituals. The elites despise those who won't conform, who challenge their authority and think for themselves. Take Denzel Washington and Mel Gibson, for instance. These men have refused to play the devil's game, and for that, they've been branded as enemies. You might wonder why these two in particular face such hatred from the elites. Well, that's exactly what I'm here to explain. Let's start with Mel Gibson.
This is a bizarre place. And it doesn't take very long, and I'm sure you've experienced this if you've stayed here for any length of time. You come in, you're fresh from the outside, you're off the boat, from the farm, still got shit on your shoes, you're in here, people are charmed by that, that you've still got shit on your shoes. They're charmed by the fresh approach you bring to it, and that's a real thing. But they're also stroking the shit out of you, you know, licking you all over. And that's kind of good for you, too.
It's great.
But it doesn't take very long before you realize, or before it gets to you. It's cascading on you all the time. You can't get away from certain attitudes, from certain modes of behavior that this town and the industry dictate. And no matter how strong you are, when you come in off the farm with those convictions and a certain line of attack, no matter how strong you are going to be affected by this place. It's going to divert you from where you were going. You're going to be diverted.
Many who speak out are labeled crazy, just like Kanye West and Dave Chappelle. Remember when Chappelle walked away from a $50 million contract?
Here, everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
I wasn't walking away from the money. I was walking away from the circumstances with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14. I've heard the stories, seen these kinds of things play out in front of me. I mean, you see it before. Look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah. Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time in their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah.
It's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress because, when you're a guy that generates money,
Yeah.
people have a vested interest in controlling.
Correct? People called him insane, but he wasn't crazy. He was choosing his soul over slavery, his freedom over fame. These aren't madmen. They weren't crazy when they first entered Hollywood, so why should we believe they're crazy now? This is a serious issue, one we can't afford to ignore. And then there's Denzel again, this time blasting Hollywood actors for their arrogance.
I was a garbage man, like Troy. You get 8 hours worth of work, but you can do it in 3. So you can go home as soon as you finish. Post office, you get 3 hours worth of work and you make it last 8. I did both. I like being a garbage man better. But they weren't bad jobs. It's like people say, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult. It's just a movie. It's like, relax. I don't play that precious nonsense. We're moving over. Get out of here. Your son got shot in the face. That's difficult. Making a movie is a luxury. It's a gift.
I'm glad these words came from one of their own, not just an ordinary actor, but one of the best. Most of these celebrities are delusional. They need a reality check. I'm not trying to downgrade their wonderful work and the time they put in. I know they work so hard, but most of them are self-important and egoistic. Imagine someone likening acting to going to war. Does that even make sense? You have a choice of not going to work. They don't. Hollywood celebrities go to work because they want to, but those soldiers go to work because they need to survive. Their lives are always on the line. At any moment, they can die. Which normal person can compare those two? That's an insult. Denzel did us a big favor by telling off these egoistic celebrities. They are too pompous and don't listen to ordinary people. In fact, every time ordinary people express their thoughts on certain things done by celebrities, we are labeled in a certain way. Look at the issue with The Rock and Oprah. I thought Oprah was going to apologize, or maybe just try to explain further what her intentions were. I was dead wrong. Oprah literally called us unhappy and dull people. More like we haven't yet reached her level to understand her vision. No time to reflect on things that affect her fans and others. They know it all. But Denzel slams all union people, saying making a movie is a difficult job. The Doppist actor said there are other things that are much harder to do, like sending a child to war. Which I agree, but unfortunately, Hollywood has brainwashed and blindfolded our celebrities. They created this environment that makes celebrities think that they are more important than others, especially ordinary people.
Could a white director not have?
It's not
produced this
color,
work?
it's culture, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference. So it's the culture.
Race relationships have to do with race relationships. You're white or whatever you are, I'm black or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into liking each other. We have to step forward and ask questions about each other and engage.
We often bring in race even where it doesn't apply. In fact, we make race bigger than it is because elites have confused our minds and made us believe race is the biggest problem that exists among us. Denzel's response didn't only clear the dent of racism but also stressed that the richness of the entertainment industry lies in its ability to showcase a diverse tapestry of cultures and perspectives. It's about celebrating the different stories and voices that make up our global society. Denzel firmly believes that embracing and understanding various cultures is crucial for the industry's growth and relevance. When people from different cultural backgrounds come together to create films, television shows, or theater productions, they bring a wealth of ideas and viewpoints that can resonate with audiences worldwide. This diversity not only enriches the art itself but also fosters a deeper connection between the content and its viewers. Denzel recognizes that by focusing on culture rather than color, the industry can break down stereotypes and cliches that have persisted for too long. By giving opportunities to artists from diverse backgrounds, the entertainment world can present authentic and nuanced portrayals of characters and stories. This, in turn, leads to a more inclusive and representative media landscape that mirrors the complexity of real-life experiences.
I've been the guy at the Oscars without my name being called. I've been the guy at the Oscars when my name is called. I've been the guy at the Oscars when everybody thought they was going to call my name and they didn't. So I've lived it.
So what would you say to the people who are looking at this process and saying it's unfair?
Yeah, and so what? You going to give up? If you're looking for an excuse, you'll find one.
In race.
You can find it wherever you like. You can't live like that. You just do the best you can do.
On the campaign trail, you called yourself a nationalist. Some people saw that as emboldening white nationalists. Now people are also saying
I don't know why you'd
that
say
the
that.
president.
It's such a racist
There are
question.
some people that say that now the Republican Party is seen as supporting white nationalists
Oh, I
because
don't
of your
believe
rhetoric.
that. I don't
What do you
believe
make of that?
I don't believe it. I don't know. Why do I have my highest poll numbers ever with African Americans? Why do I have among the highest poll numbers with African Americans? I mean, why do I have my highest poll numbers? That's such a racist question. Honestly, I mean, I know you have it written down and you're going to tell me. Let me tell you, it's a racist question.